You keep telling yourself this is the last time. Let's be real, it never is. You've tried quitting before, maybe even sworn you'd never go back. Yet here you are, again. Most people don't even know why they keep falling back into the same trap. They think it's just a bad habit, something they can stop whenever they want. If that were true, you would have stopped by now, right? So why does this keep happening? Why does it feel like no matter how hard you try, you always end up right where you started? And if you don't figure this out, you'll keep repeating the same cycle over and over again. The question is, how do you finally break free? The trap of addiction. Addiction isn't just a bad habit, it's a system. Your brain is basically a hacked operating system, and you don't even realize it. It runs on a loop: trigger, action, reward. You feel stressed? That's the trigger. You reach for your phone, a drink, or that one last episode on Netflix. That's the action. And for a moment, you feel better. That's the reward. But here's where it gets dangerous. Every time you repeat this, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical. And your brain? Oh, it loves dopamine. It starts rewiring itself to crave that quick hit, turning your little habit into an automatic reflex. At first, it's like walking on a dirt path, easy to avoid, but repeated enough times, and suddenly, that path turns into a 6-lane freeway with no speed limit. Next thing you know, you're on autopilot, doing the exact thing you swore you'd never do again. And this is where most people get it wrong. They think addiction is about weak willpower, like they just need to try harder. But willpower is like using a paper umbrella in a hurricane, completely useless when your brain is running on autopilot. You're not fighting a bad habit, you're fighting a fully optimized dopamine factory that's been running for years. And unless you reset the system, you'll stay stuck, no matter how much you want to quit. The real reason you can't quit. Most people don't realize this. You're not addicted to the thing itself. You're addicted to what it does for you. You think you can't quit social media? No, you're actually addicted to the feeling of connection. Can't stop binge watching shows? You're hooked on escaping reality. Keep smoking even when you know it's bad? Maybe it's because it calms you down. Your brain isn't craving the thing. It's craving the feeling it gives you. Let's say there's a stickman who finally decides to quit his bad habit. He wakes up feeling motivated. Today's the day, he says, probably after watching one motivational video. A few hours in, he gets stressed. He feels the urge, but he fights it. Another hour passes. His brain starts whispering, "Bro, just one time, for old time's sake." He resists, but then something stressful happens. Maybe his Wi-Fi lags at 99% download. Maybe his ex texts, "Hey," and before he even realizes it, he's back at it. And now, he feels worse than before. This is why people fail. They try to remove the habit, but don't replace it with anything better. Your brain doesn't just crave the addiction, it craves the comfort it gives you. And if you don't give it a new way to get that comfort, your brain will drag you back every single time. So the real reason you can't quit, you're not solving the actual problem. Until you figure out what you're really looking for, you'll always relapse, no matter how strong your willpower is. How to actually quit any addiction. Alright, now that you know why quitting feels impossible, let's talk about how to actually do it. Because just saying "I'll stop" doesn't work. That's like saying "I'll wake up early" while setting 7 alarms. You know you're still hitting snooze. You need a strategy, one that actually rewires your brain and makes quitting easier, not harder. So here's what you do, step by step. Step 1, identify your triggers. You can't quit something if you don't even know why you do. So what makes you do it? Stress? Boredom? Social pressure? Most people think they're just weak, but in reality, they're just reacting to a trigger they don't even notice. Let's look at our stickman. He's sitting there minding his own business when suddenly, boom, a wild trigger appears. Maybe it's stress from work, maybe it's just boredom. Either way, his brain goes, "Emergency! Quick, do the thing!" And without thinking, his hand automatically reaches for his phone. He scrolls, and 10 minutes later, he's feeling worse than before. See the pattern? The problem isn't the habit, it's what triggers it. And if you don't know your triggers, quitting will feel like trying to escape quicksand. You'll keep sinking back in. Step 2, replace, don't remove. Here's why most people fail. They focus on quitting, not replacing. They think they can just stop and everything will be fine. But if you take away a habit without replacing it, your brain is gonna panic like a toddler who just lost their favorite toy. Imagine this. Stickman decides, that's it, no more scrolling mindlessly. So he puts his phone down and now he's just staring at the wall. Awkward silence. 5 minutes later, boom, he's back on his phone. Why? Because the habit wasn't just about the phone. It was about escaping boredom, stress, or whatever triggered it. And if you don't give your brain a new way to handle that, you'll keep falling back into the old habit. So here's the fix. Don't just remove, replace. Instead of scrolling mindlessly, listen to a podcast or read something useful. Instead of stress smoking, take deep breaths or do a quick workout. Instead of gaming for hours, try learning something fun but productive. Yes, chess counts. Basically, find a healthier replacement that still gives your brain a reward. Otherwise, you're just fighting yourself. And let's be honest, you'll lose. Step 3. Make it hard to relapse. Let's be real. Willpower alone won't save you. If quitting was just about being strong, then no one would be addicted to anything. The problem is, temptation is everywhere, and your brain loves taking the easy way out. So, instead of relying on pure discipline, you need to make relapsing as inconvenient as possible. Think about it. Why do hotels put snacks in a mini fridge? Because if they put them in the lobby, you'd be too lazy to go get them. That's the same logic we're using here. Make your bad habit harder to access. Stickman wants to stop doom scrolling, so what does he do? He deletes social media. Smart move, right? But then 3 days later, he's reinstalling everything like nothing happened. Why? Because he didn't make it hard enough. So this time, he takes it up a notch. He puts a screen time lock on his phone. He logs out and uses a ridiculously long password he won't bother typing. He moves his phone across the room when working. And guess what? Now, every time he wants to scroll, he has to go through a whole mission just to do it. That tiny bit of inconvenience is enough to break the cycle. Same with other habits. Want to stop late night snacking? Don't keep junk food at home. Want to quit smoking? Keep your cigarettes in the trunk of your car. Want to stop gaming for 6 hours straight? Unplug the console and hide the controller. It's not about having more willpower. It's about needing less. If you make bad habits harder, they automatically happen less often. Step 4. Track progress. Don't chase perfection. Most people think quitting is about being perfect. One relapse, and they feel like they've failed. But here's the truth. Progress, perfection. If you mess up one day, that doesn't erase all the progress you've made. Think about it. If you drop your phone once, do you smash it with a hammer because it's already broken? No. You pick it up and keep going. That's exactly how you should treat quitting. Messing up isn't failure. Quitting on quitting is. Stickman starts strong. 1 week, no bad habit, he's feeling great. Then one stressful night, boom, he's back at it. His brain goes, well, all my progress is ruined. Might as well go all in. This is the all or nothing mindset, and it's a trap. Here's how to avoid it. Don't count days, make days count. Instead of aiming for a perfect streak, focus on building a long-term habit. Reward small wins. If you go a week without relapsing, treat yourself. Not by doing the bad habit, obviously. Track progress, but don't obsess. If you relapse, learn from it. What triggered it? How can you adjust? At the end of the day, quitting is like leveling up in a game. You don't start at level 1 and expect to beat the final boss immediately. You learn, adapt, and keep going. And that's how you actually win. The mindset shift. Most people fail to quit because they're focused on the wrong thing. They think quitting means losing something. What if I get bored? What if life feels empty? But here's the truth. You're not losing anything. You're getting your life back. Let's be real. Was it ever really making you happy? Or was it just a crutch to keep going? Addiction doesn't bring joy. It just makes you feel like crap when you don't do it. That's not freedom. That's being trapped. Imagine 2 versions of you. 1 year from now, still stuck in the same cycle, regretting not starting sooner. 1 year from now, free. Not thinking about it, not controlled by it, living life on your own terms. Stickman used to think quitting meant giving up a part of himself. But then he realized he wasn't losing freedom, he was gaining it. No more wasting time, no more feeling guilty, no more feeling like his habits controlled. And for the first time in a long time, he felt in control. The only way out. Take back control, one step at a time.